Bachrim are not allowed to drink mashke more than what the Rebbe said. Hello? This is not a joke. This is a very serious thing. Hello? You're not allowed to drink mashke. It's not Chassidus, it's the opposite. Hello?
It's water. It's water?
Yeah, I know about the water. We have to do what the Rebbe said. And the Rebbe said such sharp words that we're playing with his kashrus to the Rebbe. So this is not to take Chas v'Sholom lightly. And a bacha has no right, it's mamish gefährlich, to go against the Rebbe in such a way. It's not going to bring you closer to the Eibishter, that's for sure. A younger man, if he's 40, is a different story. And even he, the Rebbe said that today we have so much Chassidus that was never so much available that you don't even need the mashke. You could get the way you should just by learning Chassidus. How are you, sir? So let me tell you something. I want to give there's some Bachrim here today, so I want to talk for a few minutes to the Bachrim.
Bachrim, come closer, come closer. Come closer.
These aren't the ones in the summer.
A Bacha has to know that the Rebbe, his greatest wish should be Toirasai Nasai. His whole Metzius is Torah. When I was a Bacha in your age, or maybe younger, I went into
What year was that?
I don't know, and I don't care. What year? I'm not a historian, and whatever the Rebbe said is valid today and tomorrow and forever. What year was it? What it is? I don't get that. Nochamo. So the Rebbe said, I asked him about his kashrus to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe said, listen to this. The Rebbe said 3 lashonos. The beste his kashrus, the emesse his kashrus, the freilichste his kashrus, is zu sein a lamden amiti in nigle de teure, in a lamden amiti in pnimius a teure. This is what the Rebbe said. Pnimius a kavane, warte, mit darf nicht lernen, mit darf trinken Maschke, mit darf gehen auf Mefzah. Warte, der Rebbe hat gesagt, aber gemeint hat etwas anderes. Aber was hat der Rebbe gesagt? Der Rebbe hat gesagt, that to be mekusher to him, mit an emes, is to be a lamden amiti in pnimius a teure, in a lamden amiti in nigle de teure. The Rebbe said in a different time that he wants that a bacha who goes on miftzoim chutz l'seder. You told me doch nicht. Chutz l'seder. So the Rebbe said he would want that it should be a mesiras nefesh. That a bacha will azay verlernen und muss vermachen dem if it's a Gemara or whatever, on a gate of Mitzrayim. So the Rebbe wanted that it should be a Mesiras Nefesh. Not I can't wait to go have ants in my pants. Now Baruch Hashem, I could get out of here. The Rebbe wanted that the going is a Mesiras Nefesh. So if we want, in case we're interested to know what the Rebbe wants, the Rebbe wants from the Bacha, his whole Metzias should be Toirasai Nasai. The Rebbe once said by the bracha Erev Yom Kippur to the Bachrim, and the part of the bracha was Amazol Cholim in Torah, that you're so involved in Torah that that's what you dream. He didn't mean to have chizyonis that the Rameya or Rabbi Akiva is going to come to see you. He meant that if you have in learning, the oisius HaTorah keeps on bouncing in your dreams. That was the Rebbe's wish. Some people say, we got to do the Rebbe's in Yonim. What's the Rebbe's in Yonim? Miftzom. You're a retard. You need serious help. The Rebbe's in Yonim is Miftzom for a Bacher. The Rebbe's in Yonim is to learn Torah. There's a time for Miftzom. There's a time when you'll go on Shliches and Hashem. But while you are in yeshiva to be Mekusha to the Rebbe's in Yonim is you should have in Torah. I'm a little older than you, and I remember so many different times that there was something going on, let's say in the yeshivas was going chadaram, something in Crown Heights, this kind of a color war, another color war, and the Rebbe found out that Bacham are also involved. So the Rebbe would try in the middle of the Farbrengen, how does a Bacher even know that there is such a thing going on? He is supposed to be so immersed in learning. He doesn't. How should he know what's going on in the yeshiva politics? The Rebbe's expectation from a Bacher. So let me tell you a story. Maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't hear it, but I was there when this happened. Dan Holle used to go into the Rebbe once a month. The Chassidus give over a report, and they got such a bap from the Rebbe that the Rebbe the way they should. And one of the people who was in there was Rabbi Medlik Olav Shalom, who was such a mekusha to the Rebbe, we can't even imagine. When he came out of this Yechidus, he was wet like a beet. The Rebbe was so unhappy. And he shared this, he just came out of Yechidus, he shared it with the Bachar when I was there. He said that the Rebbe's two Bachrim in the Zal at that time, and they were there when Rabbi Mentlik gave over what the Rebbe said. And they turned Bava Basra, and they took upon themselves to memorize the whole Bava Basra in Mr. And with all the Rashbams, they didn't just memorize, they knew what it was saying there too. 2.5 months. And I know the guys, they were sitting on my table, so I know two things. It wasn't me, I know who it was. So listen, so those two, so Rabbi Medlik Olav Shalom, 2.5 months, wanted to give over to the Rebbe Nachas Ruach. So he told the Rebbe and went in again, that from when they went in, the Rebbe wasn't. So two Bachrim chazed out Bava Basra in 2.5 months, and he told them the names. When the Rebbe heard this, he jumped out of his chair and got up and said, "Was in 2,5 Chodoshim ganz Nachas Ruach was lahafli." So I remember this. I'm telling you a live regards. What the Rebbe doesn't jump. That's not your thing. Your thing is to learn Torah. You walk into a wall, you should be so involved in Torah, you don't know what's going on. You should wear helmets. Now they go on a bicycle, I see helmets. Mir wird gedacht, geh mit der Helmet, weil ich bin so vertracht in Lernen, ich kann rein in der Wand, ich kann rein in der Pole. But that was the Rebbe's wish. So when the Rebbe heard that Bacham knew Bava Basra in 2.5 months, it was the Gewaltige. So we as Bacham, you for sure have the highest, you want to be, you have to see to Pashut, learn a lot, to have a lot of ideas. The Rebbe used to tell Bacham, my days, they should know Shagas Ayah Bahat, Shav Shmeitze Bahat. How many times the Rebbe even pointed out what's for him? He wanted them to be Lemisalam Danim. Not just you're pushing the pages. You're pushing Lamdanim. You're loaded. That was the greatest nachas. I'll tell you a story what I remember. My father used to go into the Rebbe Many times the Rebbe used to pour out his heart, different difficulties that he has with Anash. So the Rebbe, years ago, there was a kollel or yeshiva in Berlin on President Street. He said to my father, why is it that across the street here's 11:30 a koil Torah? It's the Milan. And in 770, after everybody there. What was the Nachas Ruach from the Rebbe Bochem that lit the land in? Do you know? I'm just telling you from my memories because it's important for you to know what was in the olden days. There was one Bacher who's now a gon, was Rabbi Reipert. I remember him, he was more or less in my years. And he used to learn 3:30 at night. He was still learning in yeshiva. And the Rebbe used to go, but he hears this guy in the corner. I even remember the niggin of how he would learn. And he polished off Shas backwards and forth. He was learning and learning and learning and learning. And how many times did the Rebbe get such a nachas of his learning day and night? He goes on Miftzon. You come back from the Miftzon. I had 15 kakaftas today. This is the link. Like, instead of thinking you're like, you look by you, this is like numbers, like 15 kakaftas and 20 inputs. These are Yidden. Miftzum is Makasha Zayin Ayid to the Meibishtin. This is not it's a whole different religion you guys are in. It's not about you. You're out to lunch. You don't even understand what you're doing. The biggest joke is Megate in Schulen. Hast du gesehen, was eins? Steht auf dem Wand, der Schul, der Woche geht's at der Schul. I didn't in all the shuls, all went, so steht da Sach, steht, wenn man geht reden dort. You can't talk to those guys when you really work on yourself. What are you hacking in the cup? People could pick this up. When you learn a mimer, you have to talk to yourself first. What did this mimer teach me? You're ready to the next mimer? You never learned this mimer yet. Yo. What do you think Chassidus is? Topics? Concepts? I always laugh from this, you could cry. I tell this all the time because it's amazing to me. I saw the following scene. You ready for this? This is another cartoon. I saw a kollel Rebbe, but he was sitting on the Rebbe's bench, on the Rebbe's table, in English. So go to school. So a sandwich for dort given as a the holidays. My mom looked at him. How could you learn from the Rebbe on the Rebbe's table and learning on dort from this coffee, and then you take another bite and another drink? What? You don't even know what you're learning. You laugh. On the Rebbe's table in 770, on the Rebbe's and it's like you're feeding the enemy and you're sitting out, you're blasted full. You don't need what? See this? You're learning and you're fressing and it's no problem. If you don't have a problem, then you don't even know what you're learning. That's the Indian. It has nothing to do with me. It's an Indian. It's a concept. Shuvi law. Oh, it's a tiefer Indian. Not that I got to do Shuvi law. The reason for Shuvi law. That's Chassidus. You're in the wrong place. You don't even know what you're learning. Who is supposed to be Bacham who learn the Chassidus? But somehow it doesn't matter. You could learn Chassidus and you could go to a restaurant. How does a Bacher go to a F.R.E.E. store? First of all, there's not exactly the environment see the Shabbacha. How do you walk into this? And then to go and to tell the waiter, what would he tells him, I need kach, v'kach. Don't forget the mustard and don't corned beef. Which yeshiva are you going, idiot? This is what you're learning in yeshiva? It says that you're moisef chayas and klippus. You're polluting the whole world. You're making a chorban. You're not letting the gula because you're fighting it. And no one even sees a steer. Gula. Yechi, who knows what? Anocha fres, nocha. What is going on? What are we? We're so off the wall. We don't even add up 1 and 1 to 2. You could be a Chassidish Bacha, but you're not a Yerushalayim. Is there such a Metzias? There's no such a thing. He doesn't remember if he davened Ma'ariv. Which yeshiva do you go? You're in Tomcha to me, man. And you don't even remember if you davened Ma'ariv. If you don't remember the Ma'ariv, you're not Bechlal in this yeshiva Bechlal. You're not even, what are you? Ma'ariv, you could imagine what kind of Ma'ariv. You don't know if you benched, what kind of benching is that? Never then, you don't like what I'm saying, you could leave. Yeah? But don't be no mechutzif and close your mouth. Hello?
Yeah, you said you look at the sign,
Ich habe gesagt, dass wir da soll nicht gehen auf der Taluche.
No, you said that we get
Sie, das genommen ein bisschen Maschke, weil ich schlage sich nicht mit dir. Wir reden dieselbe Sache. Wir reden nur, als jeder mir redet so als Zweiten, darf man
I
allein.
didn't say that about Talucha. The Rebbe did not say that about Talucha.
Wie viel Mal hat der Rebbe gesagt, als darf sein, du warm a Yotzim in Alev. Und darf, wenn es ist warm a Yotzim in Alev, ist nicht los im Alev. Du tust mit sich und du arbeitest mit sich, wird schon jeder Herren besser. Hat das, also hat uns der Rebbe mechanisch gewinnt.
But I don't think the Rebbe made it conditional.
I didn't make it conditional, and I didn't say Anish Somanish gain. You are looking for a fight, and you got the wrong guy, because we're not fighting. I'm talking Boydim, and you're talking Lakshin. I never said this tonight. Listen.
It's not a thing, a regular thing that what they're sitting and eating a sandwich of that size and learning environment. It's not a usual thing. It's the one that makes entertainment. You know, you'll be mental those age. From 100, you'll make entertainment.
Listen,
No.
did you sleep last night? Did you get up on the wrong side of the bed?
No, I did not. I didn't go to sleep yet.
Then I think you should do that, because I think there's something bothering you that I don't even know what it is.
It's getting a little too much entertaining over here. And I think it's not an entertainment over here.
Okay, Ayashaka. Amen. Und dir Reichet. Uns alle. So getting back to the ranch. What the Rebbe wants from Bachrim is that we soll liegen in Teure. Und wir soll liegen in Chassidus. Und wir soll sein Teurosoi Nossoi. Das hat uns der Rebbe angesagt. Und das ist, was bringt dem Rebbe die größte Nachas Ruach. Und das sage ich noch einmal, das habe ich gehört vom Rebbe, Und das hat der Rebbe gerät zu den Bochum. Verschiedene Mal hat der Rebbe gerät, wegen der Ihnen als ein Bocher, Kol mit sie Ussoi ist teuer. Ist man will sein mit Kusche zu dem Rebbe, darf man kochen sich lernen, Horven lernen, and this gives the Rebbe the biggest nachasruch. L'chaim, l'chaim.
As a boss, I American Shliches, so I made my conclusions in Shikgo. So when I'm going out for Shliches, we have a Seder window there. And Baruch Hashem, we had Seder Nico. I was in Florida, and the figure life from Lakewood with his family going to Disney World. I said, from Lakewood told Rabbi Nosson Gurary is going to Disney World. I said, I was really going to the I barely knew how to read.
Newark.
Yeah. I said, come here every day.
Newark was before Morristown.
This is my first year. And I said to him, come here 2 hours a day before your wife wakes up. We learn to accept the Suda every day for 3 weeks. He taught me how to learn doctor.
I have you always on Facebook. I see you very often.
Okay, good.
So I know you have
How's the road?
You live here now?
I've been here about 16 years.
Boy, time flies. What do you do here?
I've been doing things there.
I have a lot of that stuff.
I tell over and over every day. But I heard from my friend. My friend told me that the fact that they didn't get broken one to another because they had so much ava for each other that they couldn't take that the other guy didn't agree with them.
No, it's a little different. Everyone felt that I have to share my view, but everyone wanted to force their shita on somebody else. But the truth is that everyone adds by being unique. We need each other by being unique. What's your name? Your father is a teacher in Brooklyn. We met before.
Rebbe, consumerism. There's not you Google consumer society. Creeps in. Consumerism creeps in. In the past 60 years, what can you do?
You can't let it go like that.
I don't know if there's a way to fight it.
You have to be
There's
strong.
no anti-Semitism. Instead, it has been replaced by a much deadlier disease, consumerism. When you have anti-Semitism, it's easier.
And you first divorced now for F.R.E.E. Now, how about the biggest type of pizza? Now you have phones and schools and sushi. It's like, can you imagine that back then? What would it be like today?
So being that we have B'li Ein Hara, Bachrim came now, so we could shift a little bit and talk to the Bachrim. I was also a Bacher.
We can go to sleep now?
No, you have to first get up now. You should wanna go back to the Bachrim years. The Rebbe used to give brachas by Yechidus when Bachrim went into Yom Haledes from 17, 18 years old. In my days, one of the parts of the bracha for your Yom Haledes was Avodas HaTfilah. The Rebbe actually, almost every bracha went into Yechidus. A part of the bracha was to have Hatzlacha and Avodas HaTfilah. And many times the Rebbe on Yechidus gave Bachrim what's Avodas HaTfilah. What should he do, what he should learn, and what should he sing. Das heißt in other Werte, there are such shaitim, because we have Baruch Hashem a closeout of shaitim, that chas v'sholem to say that today, motzach nicht das. This is like Reform Judaism, to say that anything that the Rebbe said 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years, is not relevant now. You couldn't be, it's the furthest from the truth. The Rebbe is moisif and moisif and moisif. That all the things that he said in the past, as the Golus is getting stronger, he's moisif to do more things, but never to substitute the things that the Rebbe says now, that he means that you don't have to do the things that he said or asked to be done years before. It was very clear that the Rebbe wants that a Bacher Take should harave in davening. And I want to tell you an answer that the Rebbe wrote to a Bacher who was about 17 years old. Let's call this Bacher Mr. Pfefferbox, so no one will get offended. So Mr. Pfefferbach's the Bacher went into the Rebbe, or wrote a letter into the Rebbe that he's trying very hard to daven, and it's hard for him to concentrate in davening. His mind is wandering. So the Rebbe didn't say, "Don't worry, it happens to the best. Cool it, blow it off." No. The Rebbe said, "You got a problem." And the one to turn to is to the Eibishter. And the Rebbe wrote to this Bacha to look into Tanya Perek Chav Ches, I believe, where the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, "Ve'im kasha lahasiram," if this Yid is davening and it's hard for him to get rid of his machshavos, he should turn to the Eibishter, or he should cry to the Eibishter. And in the Meforshim of Tanya it says b'machshava, because you're not allowed to be mafsik in the middle of davening with dibur, but he should cry to the Eibishter, "Help me daven." And the Alter Rebbe writes in this nusach of the Tanya, "Ulemano yase," ulemano, and for Hashem's sake should he do. So the Rebbe writes to this Bacha, 17 years old, "Yesh loima beis perushim." Rebbe is giving a pirush to a Bacha Yeshiva, a 17-year-old Bacha. And the Rebbe says there's two perushim and what the Alter Rebbe means when he says ulemano yase. One is that's a chelik of the bakasha. We're asking Hashem, answer me for your sake. Like we say, asay lemancha, do it for your sake. Ulemano, we're asking Hashem, help me daven for your sake. V'yesh loimer, that it's a haftacha, that the Alter Rebbe is giving a haftacha to this Yid, who's praying to the Eibishter, help me daven. And the Alter Rebbe says, if you will turn to the Eibishter, then I maftiach you that the Eibishter will help you. This is a very powerful story, that the Rebbe expects a Bacha should sweat, to toil, to work. Davening is a very serious, essential thing in a person's life. Like the Alter Rebbe says in a Maimer, in Likutei Torah, the Maimer is in Pashas Bolak, Lehibit Oven B'Yankov, says the Alter Rebbe that Tefillah, in this Maimer, the Alter Rebbe goes according to the opinion that Tefillah is midrabanan. And he says that although Tefillah is midrabanan, and it's not min haTorah, it's not because Chas v'Shalom it's less important, but just the opposite. Tefillah is like the shedra of the whole all mitzvahs. All mitzvahs is like the Ramach mitzvahs say is the Ramach Ivorim the Malka. If you look in the Mishnah in Olis, the Mishnah counts all the Ramach Ivorim and the Chai Chulius, the vertebrae, but it doesn't talk about Chut HaShedra. Asks the Alter Rebbe, how the spinal cord, how come the Mishnah doesn't count that? Answers the Alter Rebbe, because the spinal cord is not an individual Ava. It's the klal. Without the spinal cord, you can't have chayas. The chayas that comes from the brain comes through the Chut HaShedra and it goes to all the Ivarim. So it's an Indian klali that is negayah to all the mitzvahs. Says the Alter Rebbe, davening is the spinal cord of the whole religion. Why? Because davening is the kavanah. What's the idea? You want to be dovek to the Eibishter. If you want to be dovek to the Eibishter, you got to do Torah and mitzvahs. That's how you become dovek. But when do you want to become dovek? When is the time that you work on yourself to be dovek? That's davening. So davening is the whole klal for everything you're going to do the whole day. How the whole day is going to look, how you're going to learn Torah, and how you're going to do mitzvahs is based on davening. So davening in Chassidus is the most important part of the day. As I looked out, it's the Chut HaShedre. It's a very serious time. It's mamish called avodah. There's a mitzvah of avdos, and that is by davening. So the Rebbe wanted that Bachrim should pashut daven like a chassid. Davening just with a minyan is not enough. You have to be there. You have to mean what you have to listen to what you're saying, and then you have to mean it. Because if you don't mean it, you're hacking and shining to the Eibishter. You're asking for mercy. You don't even feel you need mercy. You got to mean it. Who are you fooling? The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Perek Dalet, that if you don't have Ava and you don't have Yira, you don't have a feeling, you're not even Mekayim Mitzvahs Be'emes. You're full of baloney. To be Mekayim at an Emes, you have to have a reason that you want to be close to the Eibishter. So you do mitzvahs to be close. Everything is through davening. So a bacher has to realize that davening is the most important part of the day. And the reason he's learning Chassidus before davening is all to make the davening should be a different kind of a davening. And a bacher should really try from Chassidus to go straight to davening. And the mikveh should be before you learn Chassidus. Because if you're going to learn Chassidus, and then you're going to take a walk to the mikveh, and you're going to talk all the Devarim B'Teilim, you're blowing whatever preparation you had, you're already blowing it, half of it you blew away already. It has to be from the seriousness of Chassidus, thinking about the Eibishter, and you go right to davening. And there's a letter from the Rebbe that I'm sure you know, that the Rebbe learns that the Chassidus before davening is already called davening. In other words, if you're worried about Zman Tefillah, you'd started already by that. Chassidus is the beginning of davening. But when is it a beginning of the davening? When is Taka beginning of davening? If you're taking this to heart. So Chassidus before davening is not a joke. This is all to help me daven. And then there is another thing. We have a very interesting minhag. We eat before davening, but you'll notice something very, very cute. When we eat before davening, we suddenly call the cake mezonos. Did you ever notice this? This is like a given. The cake that you eat before davening to sound holy, you call it mezonos. You know, it sounds like it's something like a Hebrew word. There's no heter to F.R.E.E before davening if you're not planning to daven with kavanah. Because what do we have? The whole world is dead hungry. They're fasting. They're dead hungry. But the Lubavitchers, they could do whatever. They could just shove it in. What these things are hefgewelt. The only reason that you're allowed to eat before davening is because you're going to daven better. But if you're not going to really daven better, good Yontif, how are you? How are you feeling today? Huh? What's your name? Shem Tov. And which Shem Tov? Yisrael? Okay, so I got the whole picture. You didn't even have to say anything. Okay, it's b'meile lamagein tzurek. So davening is a very serious thing. And eating before davening is only allowed because you're going to daven better. But if you're not going to daven like a yid and you're just going to say the words and your mind is going to be somewhere else, you have no right to eat. It's just not fair. Everybody is dead hungry. People, mamish, don't even drink. Some people won't even drink before davening. And we got no problem. We eat a 7-layer cake, and as long as it's called mezonis, you could eat whatever you want. It's a head. It's mezonis. Could you pass the mezonis? Suddenly, it's called mezonis. You'll notice. It was a bacha in Lubavitch. He was a chitz in a bacha, and he was davening, and he was dead hungry. But he was embarrassed to say he's hungry. It's gedaven. Yes. So he told the mashpia, "Sepes da basa." He wanted to sound holy. Basa covered Shabbos. The mashpia gave him a whack like he didn't even know what hit him. He said, "Don't tell me no basa. Tell me you're hungry. You want to eat meat." Suddenly it's basa, and this guy says mizanis. Just observe this. The cake that you eat before davening is not called cake. It's called mezanis. Interesting, huh? There was a bach in Lubavitch who came, a newcomer, and he's used to, from his house, that you polish your shoes before Shabbos. He doesn't know nothing. He comes and he's starting to polish his shoes. First of all, in Lubavitch, he could polish his shoes from today till tomorrow. It was full of mud. In 2 seconds, the whole shoes was finished. But anyways, he got a whack from the mashpia. He sees him polish. He says, "In here we polish our heads. We don't polish the shoes." Anyway, getting back to the ranch. So davening is a dead serious. It's negaya for the whole day. It's negaya for your whole life. And Chassidus is only the reason we daven later. And to learn is that the whole davening should be a different davening. But if chas v'sholom, there's no connection between what I'm learning and what I'm davening, and I didn't even think what I learned before then what are you doing here? There's a zman tefillah too. All the heterim is because you're going to daven like a yid, like a chassid. But if you're not planning to do that, there's a Shulchan Aruch, zman tefillah. So the Rebbe says that if you daven, you learn Chassidus before davening, it's like you're starting davening earlier. But that's because you're learning Chassidus to change yourself. It's material to change. It's material to take to heart. You got to talk to yourself. Did you understand what this is here, what we're learning? What did it say here? What did you learn? You got to talk to yourself like you're a big behemoth. Did you get it? You didn't get it. What did you learn? What am I davening today with? Davening is material. Chassidus is material to take to heart. It's dead serious. It's not inyanim. It's not concepts. It's negaya and avodas Hashem. And then, what do you do after you daven? I saw Bochum after davening, they run to the kitchen like they never saw food in their life. You can't even stop them. You could get killed on the way because something is wrong. It doesn't match. It doesn't match. How did this happen? How did this develop? You just davened, and now you're crashing into that, and you're looking for the ketchup and the mustard, and you're looking for the... There was a bacha in my days, going back in the early 1800s, there was a bacha who went into the Rebbe. He also asked for his kashrus. You know what the Rebbe told him? The poor guy, I have rachmanis on this guy. The Rebbe said to him, "You pour salt." The Rebbe didn't want to say ketchup or mustard. He was like easy on him. He says, "Du schitz Salz after Essen soll haben a bessere Tam." Und du fragst mir wegen des Kashrus? You understand English? The Chayr today, everybody said, what's the problem? Pass the ketchup, could I have some iskashras? It would go together. There's no contradiction. But the Rebbe said to him, you're out to lunch. You hear? The Bacha, the poor Bacha, the Rebbe didn't call him back and say, no, I just was joking. That was what the Rebbe answered him. The guy was looking for a hole to bury himself, but there's no holes in the Chid. There's no place where to go. You only could go out. You can't go under. Could you imagine the Rebbe? You're asking the Rebbe something about his kashrus, and the Rebbe says, "Who are you kidding me? What do you think? I'm your next door neighbor? What do you think this is? You have Rahmanas on that guy? Huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. He didn't say it. He didn't call him back and said, I was just joking. All right, just eat as much as you can. Don't forget the ice cream. The Rebbe said to him, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're so out to lunch that go back and start studying. You learn Chassidus, the most powerful stuff. There's nothing more powerful, but it's only powerful if you take it to heart. If you just learn it, it bounces off. You could repeat it, you could say which mimer, what page. It doesn't mean anything. You have to take it to heart. You have to know that this means me, and it's negated to me. And if you don't learn Chassidus that way, you're not learning Chassidus. You don't even know you don't get it. You're not getting it. This is a material to work on yourself. That's the whole point. The whole point of limit Chassidus is that it should have an influence on me. I can't go away from this mimer till I know where am I taking this mimer. I'm finished with the mimer. You're finished. You didn't even begin yet. You never learned the mimer properly. If you can't take anything out of this mimer, you didn't learn it properly. Because the mimer was never meant just to be said. It was meant to work on your insides. It was made to change you, to get to your central nervous system. I heard this, that in Lubavitch, Bochum died from Avodah. Died. They worked on themselves, they died. You think they stopped when some people died? They died, they carried them out. Next, anybody ready? And then when people died, people took this to heart. I don't see anybody dying here. There was a bacher, it was Reb Shilem. He came to Lubavitch. He had this like sports suit. He came from not such a religious family, for sure not a Lubavitcher family. And he came with such a sport, like you could think he's like, the guy worked on himself, that the Rebbe Rashab said about him, that there wasn't a koyach in his nefesh that he didn't work over. And the Rebbe Rashab, once the Reb Shilem was davening Nile, and the Rebbe Rashab said he's not going to eat yet, Yontif Mitzvah, Yom Kippur, Kol man Shilem davened, then in the Tieren noch halts offen. Who are you talking about? He had a head like a rock, but he worked on himself that he became the Choizer Roshi of the Rebbe Rashab's Mamorim. The Rebbe Rashab could say a mimer for 3 hours. Long Mamorim. Who was able to say, over word for word, was this Reb Shilem. He became the Choizer. But it came from Avodah. He had a rock head. But it's a Ibbe gemacht. He died in his 30s, young 30s. And the Rebbe Rashab said that the whole Torah Tamimim was worth it for him. Just for one guy like him. But what was he? Was that he was a Pasha, a Yid was at Gehorovitz. So the whole Lubavitch, the history of Lubavitcher Bachrim, what Oiv de Hashem Pashat, Gehorovitz. You know what they slept on? Most of the Bachrim didn't have no beds. They had the coats. They rolled their coats, and they sat under the table in the zal. That was their bed, and that was the mattress. And what did they eat? They had once a week. They had fleischiks. What's a type fleischiks? Chas v'shalom fleisch. There was no fleisch. No, then there was one piece of meat that was cooked in water, and the water became a soup. So that was the fleischiks. They didn't have no too much gashmis. And then there is this interesting that the Rebbe Rashab made the menu. Would you believe it? He wrote what the Bacham should eat. Can imagine already what they ate already. But that's what this was a real Bacham Gehorovitz. And then Rab Nosson, when the American boys came the first time to Paris, he freaked out. But he saw there that he saw Bachrim that were eating bread and butter. And the biggest hispilus was that not only they're eating bread with butter, but the mechaber, the butter with the bread. Loi died. The will says putter. Take a piece of butter and shove it down. But noch schmieren, this was by him, tachlis hagassis. Can imagine where we are. But noch schmieren, the butter after bread. This was by him like he couldn't relate to it. You understand? This is what was. So what people say today, heint macht man nicht das. Ashelachin, kann man fressen, was man will. Das, was man macht nicht heint, there's still plenty room from was man mag und was ist meistens. Man macht nicht die Sort, aber nicht der Teich, dass heint kann man tun, was man essen, was man will. And you expect to be a refined bacha, it's not possible. You have Timtum Amoyach, you have Timtum Alev. Sie geht nicht da rein, gar nicht. So mit der Wissen sein, als der Rebbe Mond, als der Bacher soll sein, arbeiten auf sich. Soll sein, der Rebbe Rashab, als hat mir Yassid gewinnt, Tomche zu Mimim. Hat gesagt, in der Siche, als was hat gemacht, Tomche zu Mimim, weil will haben Yirei Shemayim Pnimiyim. The whole Tomche Tamimim, the whole Hisyastis from Tomche Tamimim was be once Yirei Shemayim Pnimi. There should be Negeya B'nefesh Shulchan Aruch, Adin Shulchan Aruch. Who are the people who had Mesiris Nefesh in Russia in the most difficult times, who are fashiked in Siberia and was in jails and what did they eat there? They had Mesiris Nefesh not to eat chametz and Pesach and not to eat treif. They starved to death. Where did they get this training? These were these bachim who by they is to eat treif is better not to eat. So they'll die. The Yirei Shemayim that they got from Chassidus, that kept all the doiros of communism. This was because they learned the Tomche Tamimim. And the Rebbe Rashab saw this ahead, that there's going to be very serious times, and the only thing that's going to hold them is going to be Chassidus. So he was Miyaseh Tomche Tamimim. But he said, L'katchile, That why is he miyasid Tomcha Tamimim? Because he wants Yireh Shamayim Pnimi. So today, when a bacha says, "Excuse me, sir, could you keep quiet?" I'm talking to you, Taka. Today, when a bacha says, "Don't be so frum," you know who's talking like that? Amalek. But says, "Don't be so frum." Which yeshiva are you? Slabotke? Who should be a Yireh Shamayim if not a bacha from Tomcha Tamimim? The greatest Yireh Shamayim in the world are supposed to be Lubavitcher bacha, because they're learning Chassidus. And Gans Chassidus brings out what means a mitzvah and what means a dikta kal. So if a person learns Chassidus and his Yireh Shamayim does not change, he didn't even go up to the next kitte. He's still in his diapers. In what way is he in Zal? As in Zal? Wie is in Zal? He has packed in him Yireh Shamayim all the way up to the Zal? You measure the success of Tomcha Tamimim in your Yireh Shamayim. If it doesn't add up to Yireh Shamayim, you don't know what you're learning, and the learning of Chassidus is loy paga v'loy naga. How do I know that Chassidus had an effect on me? In Hanhaga Yom Yomis. Who should be more zoheh in kashrus than a bacha from Tomcha Tamimim? How come today it's shaykhs that a bacha doesn't even give a hoot if it's Lubavitcher Shchita or it's not Lubavitcher Shchita? Or it doesn't give a hoot, who's hechsher? How many bachim were there in my days that wrote to the Rebbe all kinds of things? And one of the things the Rebbe would tell them, Cholav Yisrael, question mark. If the Cholav Yisrael, these were bachim who kept Cholav Yisrael. But maybe the Cholav Yisrael was not 100% Cholav Yisrael. Maybe it wasn't Kalim. They were not 210 and there was Kashet. But the Rebbe wanted to know what's doing with Cholav Yisrael. It's Negei in your Amunah. It's Negei if you have Sveikus in the Amunah. It comes from not eating Cholav Akum. Whatever you eat is Negei in your Amunah, in your everything. So who is supposed to be the most frumste bacher, who are medactic in what they eat, should be a bacher of Tomcha Tamimim. And not always do we see that. You could go into a store and you eat whatever is there, kosher. How does this fit in? Something is really wrong here. Something doesn't jive. You're in Tomcha Tamimim and you don't care what you're eating. Derech Hagav, I'll tell you a very interesting story from my days in the early 1800s. I was sitting on a table, and there was a bacha there, came from Gezer, the real Gezer. He writes into the Rebbe that he has doubts in the whole situation. You ready for this? The Rebbe tells him, you are probably fixing your watch with the bells of the church. And the Rebbe hit it on the nose. In other words, if you chas v'sholem, you want to fix the time, and you go and you're listening to the bells, when the bells ring, you know, let's say, kach v'kach, that connection of fixing your watch makes you sveikus in the moon. Everything that a Yid does is negeya. It's poigim in your neshama. And the Rebbe was mechanechos like that. So what you eat is very negeya. What you see and everything, all the things that it says is dead serious. So who should be the greatest Yireh Shamayim? Bachamul Chassidus, Tomcha Tamimim. After Gans, Tomcha Tamimim is to be a Yireh Shamayim Pnimi. So that's the whole reason you're in this yeshiva, B'chal. So the first thing you got to know is Shulchan Aruch. What does the Shulchan Aruch say? You got to, everything is the Shulchan Aruch. And we learned this from the Rebbe. I don't know, because you're young Bachrim, you don't know everything that went on in the earlier days. But in my days, how many times did I see by a Farbrengen that if a Bacha was doing something that was not exactly for Shabbos, let's say he was biting his nails, the Rebbe would stop in the middle of the Sikha and say to a boy, "It's a hein to Shabbos." If a person was picking his nose while the Rebbe is talking, the Rebbe stopped, gave Ash the hand. Everybody knows if the Rebbe saw a page of a siddur on the floor, the Rebbe would go and pick it up himself, or gave it to the Anholle by the Farbrengen. How could there be such a thing? The Rebbe taught us Pashat how a Yid has to be in Shulchan Aruch. There's nothing greater. There's nothing more important as Shulchan Aruch. The Rebbe used to Farbrengen in the olden days. He used to Farbrengen very late. Shvuas he could Farbrengen gechreis till 3-4 in the morning. A lot of Farbrengens went but many times the Rebbe would look at the watch, and he says, "Mit doch verbunden mit the Zman," and he would always somehow try to fit it into Chatzai. So he taught us Pashat Shulchan Aruch is Shulchan Aruch, Adin is Adin. And another thing we learned from the Rebbe, how the Rebbe was Zohir in a word, how never to say something negative. If he would say Hepech HaTov, if he would, any kind of thing that was negative, he went around. And another thing, I don't know if everybody knows this, Pesach, never did the Rebbe say the word chametz. Not even to say the word chametz. He would say hepech hamatzah. Whatever he did, the word chametz on Pesach he doesn't say. The zehiras in Dibor was so boiled by the Rebbe, jede Wort darf sein in the toiv, in the positive. We try to do a lot of things imitating the Rebbe, but I don't think that we're so zohir in how the Rebbe talked. We don't mind saying whatever we want, but that's not how the Rebbe taught us. We got to remember the basics, how the Rebbe trained us. A mitzvah, all the minhagim, the Rebbe had Mesiras Nefesh for a minute. Moiradik Mesiras Nefesh. You probably know this, but it's before your times. The whole Tashlich is a minig Yisrael. And also to go on Dafka on Rosh Hashanah, a lot of people go and say, you made tshuva, whatever. Was once a time that there was the Rebbe used to go to the botanical gardens, which was could take a half an hour. And one Rosh Hashanah, it was ploching, it was raining cats and dogs. Not only did the Rebbe go in this big rain, but the botanical garden was closed. So the Rebbe didn't say, okay, he can't go, he is luck. So the Rebbe Pashit climbed in front of everybody, climbed like a young bacher, climbed over the whole gate and jumped down to go to Tashlich. Minig Yisrael. How did the Rebbe go to Mayim Shalanu? Maim Shalonu is a minik, not a din to go yourself to take Maim Shalonu. By the Rebbe going to Maim Shalonu was moyed. The seriousness of he's going to Maim Shalonu. A mitzvah, a hidden mitzvah. We saw the Mesiras Nefesh, what the Rebbe used to do on Pesach, how he had Mesiras Nefesh, he couldn't eat this, he couldn't eat that, how he ate the matzah, how he ate the morah, was Mesiras Nefesh mamish. There's a story from the Rebbe Rashab, it's a very important story. The Rebbe Rashab never wanted fillings because he was concerned about Pesach, because he eat with the fillings are metal, and a shaila if you eat the chametz, if it's boileya, so he didn't take fillings. But he had tremendous yisurim from the cavities. So the Rebbe from the Rebbe Rashab was once when the Rebbe Rashab was in Frankreich, in where? But was a bit out in Europe somewhere. No, in Pressburg. So the Rebbetzin went over to the Rebbe Rashab was in a garden walking, spazieren. So the Rebbetzin of the Rebbe Rashab spoke to the Pressburger Rav that was complaining that her husband doesn't want to make fillings because he feels it's a problem with chametz. So maybe the Pressburger Rav could be matter to the Rebbe Rashab that it's not a shaila, or that it's okay. So the Pressburger Rav spoke to the Rebbe Rashab. So the Rebbe Rashab said, believe me, as much as I have very big pain from these cavities, but the pain I'll have if I have the fillings, because it doesn't have this hidder, it's going to hurt me much more. So versteht sich the Pressburger let him go. But you hear what the Rebbe Rashab is saying, that the pain of having to have fillings is going to be to him more painful than these unbelievable pain of the holes in his teeth. That's the taich. For a hiddur shebehiddur, that's what it's all about. Chassidus is the lefnim mishur sadin. What means lefnim mishur sadin? You're not mechuyev. But so what? I want to be close to the Eibishter. I'm not looking for a heter to get out of it. I'm looking to get more into it. So a chassid sucht nicht a heter. In the Litvische Welt, you could get a heter for anything. If you know who to go to, I'll get a heter. What means a heter? A heter means, is there any way out? Is there any way I could get out of this rigid religion? A chassid is not looking to get out. He's looking to get in. So he's mahadan, machahidan, machahidan. So in them, sagt sich avodas Chassidus. There is nothing in Chassidus outside of religion. Everything surrounds the religion. You can't be a chassid without the religion. I hear a lot of times people use this logo. Today everything is a chasidische bein. Ever heard this expression? A chasidische bein. What is this? What in the world does that mean? For cholent, you need to have beina to put into the cholent. But what does it mean? I can't forget in Amaylev, or the Chas v'Shalom Cheshme, Zman Cheshme, aber hat chassidische bein. Who needs that bein? Since when is this? This is nonsense. You can't be a chassid without Torah mitzvahs. The ganze Chassidus is wegen teure Mitzvahs. Es ist etwas da, etwas chutz teure Mitzvahs. Aber der Rebbe allein hat nicht mehr. That's it. Medida Atzmi is this, that's it. So everything in Chassidus darf sich heraussagen in teure Mitzvahs. There's nothing outside of it. You compromise the religion that's not Chassidus, then you're outside of the Chassidus. Hello? So the yardstick, am I with the program and out? Darfen sich atapton, wo bin ich mit Shulchan Aruch? Is Shulchan Aruch by me koiveya? Is that what is most important? Or Hegeshim, or I don't know what that's called. We're living in a mixed up world today. We got to get our act together. There's nothing more important than Torah mitzvahs. And any Hagish that compromises Chas v'Shalom Torah mitzvahs, the Hagish is klipped. V'harayah, when Chas v'Shalom somebody forgot a cheshbon, and for a good cause, he would go to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe would give him a tikkun, and the tikkun wasn't so easy also. You got a problem. He didn't say, I'll just cool it. You have to be Masakadis. This is not possible. There's no such a thing as Chassidus outside of Torah mitzvahs. It's the biggest shtus. There's no such a thing. So the Bachram are listening. Hello?
Yeah.
We got to be pro the religion. Huh? Okay. Yeah? Baruch Hashem. Really deserve a medal. Huh?
We wanted to succeed.
Yeah, but you got to help it along. You have to help it along. I heard from my father that there was a certain Hasidic Yid. A whole day he was going around with this shaila, because you learn Birchas Hanenin, you drink, let's say, tea. Some people drink tea, and it's too hot or whatever, so they put it down, and then 10 minutes later, they take another sip. So there was this Chassid, the Shiyid, the whole day he was walking. It's a hefsek, it's mitzdaref. This was his problem in life. You understand? How many people are walking around today wondering if my zip, what I drink for, is it mitzdaref to the shir? Do I need to make a bracha choyne? Do I have to start making a new bracha? It's not even an issue today. Right? That, as I must have been saying. But you understand, there were different issues in the olden days. Different issues, different problems. We don't have no problems today. Everything's good. It's fantastic. Why? Because we're not educated right. We don't have our priorities screwed on. All the Hegeshim in the world is not worth missing even one hidden mitzvah. It's negeya for your whole life, and that's why I feel I have a chiyuv, because me ken sich naren. So da heint Bachem, who, let's say, summertime or whatever, they go on Miftzom, and they daven 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
AM.
Huh?
AM. Summer.
And it's like a whole chachma, it's like a chassidus. putting on tefillin so late because the whole day the mitzvah. What are you doing? Who told you that you're allowed to do that? Get up 5 a.m. and daven. What kind of heta is to daven so late? It doesn't come for Chassidus, but it's like you're proud. I davened so late because I was busy the whole day. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you would have got up really early, you could daven earlier. You had to puff, and then what says the Babich Bacha davens 5, 6 o'clock, and he's proud. He's proud that he's a real Hasidic Yid, that he was put on tefillin so late. He should bury himself somewhere. Let him go somewhere. How could you do that? What's the hefgewelt to Shulchan Aruch? It's a kind of it's cute that you daven so late. It's like a Chassidus. Something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong. That's not what it says in Chassidus. There was, I don't remember the name, but you do remember, I think it's in the Likutei Diburim. There was a certain chassid who was a whole night thinking Chassidus, and he didn't daven Ma'ariv because he was fatrach till the morning. From then on, every night he learned Chishma mit der Zerbrochenkeit, and he made a chlote every night. Tomorrow will ich sein gar anders. What's the name of this chassid? You remember? Remember the story? So here you're talking about a guy was hat getracht Chassidus a ganze Nacht. Aber zur Krishma hat es nicht, zur Ma'ariv hat es nicht. So he's zerbrochen a whole life. And he learned Krishma every night. Morgen will ich sein gar ein anderer. Is that bothering anybody today? Why not? Something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong. Why aren't these things bothering us? What's going on? It doesn't add up with the Chassidus. Something we missed out here. You know, I'll tell you a cute story. When I was in Buffalo, I had a Russian Jews who came from Russia, and they used to come to Shabbos by day. And I used to, they didn't know, they knew very little, but they understood Yiddish, and I would talk to them, and I gave them a big Suda. That they understood very good. And because of that, they came, Pashut. So by the Suda, I would talk about Yiddishkeit. And there was one guy who, whenever I spoke, he used to chuckle with his head. And I was in seventh heaven. There's at least one guy who really understands what I'm talking about. After 2 years of him chuckling, and he's the guy who's versteht an Indian. So in the Saf, he tells me, Rebbe, he says, he calls me. He understands everything I'm saying. But it's just one word he doesn't know what I'm saying. He says, what's this Oibishter? Like, that's the only problem, that word, verstehst, das ist schon der, was hat ja verstanden. Das heißt, hat gar nicht verstanden. He didn't even know what that word is. Also is talking, that's a mashal, but it's a true story. We can learn to see this, and the chapter finish with the last. If it doesn't add up to change and to become a Chassidus Yid, you don't get it. You don't even know what you're learning. You don't get it. You're out to lunch. You don't even understand what's bothering the Alter Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe, what's bothering the Maimon, what's the issue. It's all about Torah mitzvahs and all about our anhaga. And if our anhaga doesn't change, you didn't get the maimah. You didn't understand what it's talking about. Then there's another inyan that needs to be talked. Every maimah talks about Achdus of Hashem. That's the bottom line of every maimah. Another way to bring out Achdus Hashem. What's meant Achdus Hashem? Hu levadoi hu ve'ein zulas. So if you learn a maimah and you don't pick up that that's the issue here, you didn't understand the maimah. You think it's talking about Kalim, Reshimu, Kav, Boidim, Lakshin. What's the bottom line? What is the maimah driving at? You gotta find that he's talking about Achdus Havaya. And if you don't find that in the maimah, you don't even understand the maimah. The main topic of every maimah is another way to bring out Achdus Hashem. Call it Kav, call it Kalim, Reshimu, Euren Sof, Shekhaydem, Tzimtzum, Lachat, Tzimtzum, Ak. No matter what does that mean? What is it trying to bring out? If you don't see Achdus Hashem in it, you don't understand what he's talking about. And this is just a joke, but it's a funny joke. When I taught in the university, I had all kinds of people there, even Eine Yehudim too. And there was a Schwarze woman there, and she stood to me, she understands everything. Now, ein Sach versteht sie nicht, Adam Cadman. She's having a problem with Adam Cadman. Verstehst? I saw you mit die Woche. Adam Cadman. It's a true story.
That was the only Hebrew words? Yeah.
This was for her a problem.
A Schwarze lady once said to me in the airport, teach me how to daven. Those lashons. Yeah, but she saw me down in Shemona Esrei.
I was one of those Yidden in deine Schule in Buffalo.
Really? Really? How many years ago?
Together with climbers.
Sure. He's still there. Really?
You still are?
My sons are.
You were young. Thank you so much.
Like a bench.
Phone about.
Huh?
I told you on the phone about Simple Cancer.
Yeah.
Simple Chassidus.
No.
He's the one sitting next to me.
That's the guy? And he left? He left now? Oh, that's the one. So, with F.R.E.E, we have to go back to the point of Yud Beis Tammuz. There is an alter word that there was a Polish Chassid that came to the F.R.E.E Rebbe, and he was about, I don't know if he took, but he was about to take Shrayim. Because there's such a thing by Chassidim that they weren't, it's a zgula to eat something that Rebbe started eating. It has all kinds of zgulas. So the F.R.E.E Rebbe said to that Chassid, "Bei uns is Shrayim is mechayev, not mezake nor mechayev." Was heißt? That if you take Take Shrayim, it behooves you to work harder. In other words, if you have more koiches, darfst du das ausnutzen. It's not uneasy. You eat something holy, you automatically is okay. If you're taking something like that, then it's going to be expected of you much more. Verstehst? If you learn Chassidus, it gotta make you more uncomfortable, because it demands more. If you learn Chassidus and it's cool, it's fine. You don't even know what you're learning, because the more you learn the truth, the more it is expected from you to live that way. There's a gewaltige story. The Alter Rebbe, as we know, went to jail, and we know the whole story with Yud Beis Kislev. But there's a part of the story that not everybody knows, and that is that the Alter Rebbe asked a certain Chassid, Reb Shmuel Munkes, who must have been a very big Baal Madrege. On the other hand, he used to be behalten and he looked like a joker, but he was a very holy man. And the Alter Rebbe asked him advice, should he go to jail? Now let's clarify the story. Let's say, should he go to jail? The police are telling him you're going to jail. But if the Alter Rebbe didn't want to go to jail, he's not going to jail. Because we all know a tzaddik could change the whole situation. Like the Alter Rebbe was taken on a boat. The jail was surrounded with water, and it was Motzoi Shabbos, and they took the Alter Rebbe to the jail on a boat. And the Alter Rebbe said to the captain, please stop the boat, because I want to be Machadish the Levana. And I want the boat should stop. So the guy looked at him like, you're from Mars, you're a prisoner. You're going to tell me to stop the boat? So he ignored the Alter Rebbe. So the Alter Rebbe stopped the boat with a moifus, and the boat stopped. But the Alter Rebbe didn't want to make Kiddush Levana from a nes. Mitzvah is supposed to be in Teva. So he said, now, start the boat and you stop it. And then I'll be Mekadosh the Levana. So this is just an example that a tzaddik like the Alter Rebbe, he could stop the boat, and if he doesn't want to go to the jail, he can make Ois jail. To make the story a little more exciting, the Alter Rebbe was once by a chasana of a Neinikel, and he was there together with a Baditchev, and there were thousands of people, and was pushing, and the Baditchev was about to leave, and he couldn't get out. There was so much pushing people. So the Baditchev said to the Alter Rebbe, you know what? We'll walk through the wall. There's a wall. We'll walk through the wall. So the Alter Rebbe said, no, he wants to go al pi derech hateva. So what do you see from this story? A wall, since when is a wall a problem? For a tzaddik, he can make there's no wall. So a man who could go through a wall and he could stop the moon at the boat, so the Alter Rebbe would not want to go to jail. He's not going. So he asked Reb Shmuel Munkes, should he go to jail? Very Peladic story. So Reb Shmuel Munkes answered him the following: Bist du a Rebbe? If you are for real a Rebbe, no bullet will shoot you. But if you're not a Rebbe, who gave you permission to take away the Anof and Olam Hazeh from tens of thousands of Yidden? How did Alter Rebbe do this? The Alter Rebbe teaches Chassidus and tells you about Taivas Olam Hazeh, what it does to you and what it is. So if somebody takes serious what Alter Rebbe is saying, he's taking away the Olam Hazeh from so many Yidden. So this is a Maimah Musga. But in the meantime, he asked Reb Shmuel Munkes, should he go? So you see here that if he didn't want to go, then the jail is not going to scare him. The meantime, we got to ask ourselves, did the Alter Rebbe take anything away from me? I'm having a great time. He didn't take my Olam Hazeh away from me. So what's going on? The Alter Rebbe supposedly took away the Olam Hazeh. And I'm learning the Alter Rebbe's Tanya. He's not taking nothing away from me. I'm having a great time. I'm eating and drinking like there's no tomorrow. I'm having such an Adarabah. I eat mezoinus. I'm having a chocolate cake and 7-layer cake. So how did the Alter Rebbe take away from me the Olam Hazeh? Something's wrong. I'm not learning it right, because the Alter Rebbe didn't take away the Olam Hazeh from me. And I bet he didn't take away from anybody here too. I think we're having a great time in Olam Hazeh. So could anybody say that the Alter Rebbe took anything away from us? Hello? Do you feel that the Alter Rebbe deprived you from something? Undernourished or something? Huh? It's a beautiful story. Speaking about stories, there's a very yesodistic story that is kedai to know and to think about this all the time. There was a big chassid of the Alter Rebbe. His name was Reb Moshe Meislish. And he went to Yechidus to the Alter Rebbe. Going to Yechidus to the Alter Rebbe, Hasidim would prepare themselves for years before they went to the Alter Rebbe. Said in the Shliches that before they didn't pile on themselves, that Adava Asa should be Asa Achetetz in Ishmasai, and even Adava Heta should also be, you should stay away, abstain Kaddish Asbacha B'Mutalach, if they couldn't parle by them that minimum, they didn't even dare go into Yechidus. So these tzaddikim, these were moyedike Chasidim, moyedike Bala Madreges, and they went go into Yechidus to hear from the Alter Rebbe something aderech and avodah. So there was this Rav Moshe Meislish who went into Yechidus and he asked the Alter Rebbe 3 questions. I hope you'll remember this for the rest of your life. The first question is, what does it mean, Hashem? You're talking about a chassid who by now he should know, but you'll soon see that he didn't know. Was ist der Rebbe in Yiddish? He asked in Yiddish, was ist der Rebbe? Second question, was is a Yid? What is a Yid? Describe to me what's a Yid. Question number 3. Und was is their Verbund? How do they connect? How does a Yid connect to the Eibishter? This was his problem in life. You understand? You're talking about a chassid from the Alter Rebbe who was a moedike Bal Madrege, and yet he had this question. So he must have asked something much deeper than what we could imagine. So the first question is, was is the Rebishter? What's the second question? What's a Yid? And what's the third question? What's the Zeir Verbund? How do they connect? So the Alter Rebbe answered him in Yechidus with a niggin. The Alter Rebbe always used to say things with a niggin. So he said, was ist der Rebishter? Was meint Eibishter? So the Alter Rebbe said, is klar faran. Klar means vadai. He's for sure faran. Und chutzem is klar gar nicht faran. That's the Taich Eibishter. If you say the Eibishter, he's the Godol HaGibor VaNoira, he is the Melech, you still don't know what you're talking about. What's the Taich Eibishter? Hu levadoi hu v'ein zulasoi. The translation of Eibishter means that there is nothing besides the Eibishter. Nothing. There is no other existence but Hashem. That's the translation of Eibishter. You'll praise him to no end, and you'll say he's a Yochid in Kayotzaboy, and you're going to say he's a whatever. You still don't know what you're talking about. The Taich Eibishter is is klar faran, und chutzem is klar gar nicht faran. Was is a Yid? Second question, Alter Rebbe answered him. The Yid is there, was the head who realizes, he gets it. You know, sometimes you say, you get it. It registers as is klar faran, und chutzem is gar nicht faran. The Yid is there, was can das the Herren. So let's talk in simple English. A goy, lahavdil elef alafim, cannot comprehend that he doesn't exist. What means I don't exist? I sure do exist. Only a Yid, because he's a chelik l'kamimal, he could understand, comprehend, or get it, that the translation of Eibishter means that there's nothing besides the Eibishter. That's the whole Chassidus. The Ein Zulasai. Hu levadayu is still not it. Hu levadayu v'ein zulasai, and there's nothing else existing but him. Then the third question, how do they connect? They're kochen them. The excitement, you live by it. that you're always thinking about it, that the Eibishter is the only existence. That's how you stay connected. This is a very important yesod. That's what a Chassidus Bach is. What is he thinking the whole day? What's on his mind the whole day? That talking in the middle can't be. What it is, puss the Bachram? Can you say? Can't be. What'd you say? B'meile, that's Chassidus. That's really what the Baal Shem Tov taught. The whole Chassidus of the Baal Shem Tov is based on Achdus Hashem. If you don't understand Hashem Echad, what it means, Apid Torahs of Baal Shem Tov, then all the Torahs that the Baal Shem Tov, there's so many Torahs, there's a Sefer Keser Shem Tov, and there's a Torahs Yankov Yosef, and there's Tzavor Sarivosh. There's thousands of Torahs from the Baal Shem Tov. But all of it is based on this, what does it mean, Hashem? If you don't know what's Hashem, you're not going to understand anything the Baal Shem Tov is saying. You don't get it. The whole yesod of the Torahs of Baal Shem Tov is, what does Hashem mean to you? How do you translate Hashem Echad? Says the Baal Shem Tov. Hashem Echad means that He is the only existence. Nothing else exists outside of Hashem. I says da a table with chocolate cake, with a microphone. The Mezainis, you see, Baruch Hashem, you saved me. The teretz is, the Alter Rebbe explains this, that being that the Metzias doesn't have its own Metzias, it needs Hashem to make it to be a Metzias, so it doesn't have its own Metzias. So He's really not here. What is here? It's the Dvar Hashem that's creating it. There's nothing outside of the Dvar Hashem. There's the Dvar Hashem and there is the Gashmi. The Gashmi is the Dvar Hashem. The Dvar Hashem as a Gashmi, that's the Dvar Hashem. There's nothing besides Hashem. If you don't get this, you don't know what you're talking about. That's what mitzvahs Achdus Hashem, the second mitzvah in the Tayag mitzvahs, according to the Rambam, mitzvahs Achdus Hashem is you believe that there's nothing besides Hashem. And the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in almost every perik, brings out this word. Even Matan Torah. Matan Torah, the Alter Rebbe says, what happened by Matan Torah? Matan Torah said, we saw Hashem, we heard Him say, Aseh Sedibros. Alter Rebbe says a whole different thing. We saw as Hu Levadei Hu V'Ein Zulasai. You saw that there's no other Metzias outside of Hashem. How did they see it? They were in the world. They were in a Gashmistika world, and there were Gashmistika things all around them. And they saw that this Gashmi is only Hashem. How did they see that? The Aseres HaDivros came out of the whole world. Out of the Gashmis of the world, said Anochi Hashem Elokecha. That says they saw the world is really Hashem. That's what happened by Matan Torah. Says the Alter Rebbe, the Rebbe gave us a taste, like you Toyim Erev Shabbos, what you're eating for Shabbos. The Rebbe gave us a sample of what the world is going to look like when Mashiach will come. The plan, when the plan is finished, when the complete plan is going to be finalized, we're going to see the world. We're going to be on this world. But we're going to see that the world is only Hashem. How could that be? Look what happened now. You were at Matan Torah. You are in a world. Hashem didn't take us out of the world. You are on this world. And you saw that the world is really Hashem. This is so important. That's the essence of Chassidus. The essence of Chassidus is, what does Hashem mean to you? He's not just the creator. He's not just a boire. He's not just Melech Macham Lacham HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the only existence. So when you're davening to Hashem, you got to know who you're talking to. You're not talking to the man upstairs or the man downstairs. You're talking to the only mitzvahs. And all the mitzvahs that we do is going to make the world more mezuchach and more mezuchach, that the world it'll be revealed in the world. The plan of Torah mitzvahs is that we should see that the world is also Hashem. That's the whole goal of Torah mitzvahs. And that means B'yas HaMashiach. B'meile, if a person, you want to talk to somebody to learn Chassidus, you got to give him a taste. What is Chassidus? Chassidus is about what's the Eibishter. That's what Chassidus is. Right, hit it on the nose. Chassidus is a whole different view on what is Hashem. That He is Echad. That's Torah Baal Shem Tov. That's the whole Chassidus. The whole Chassidus is to bring out Ein Oid Milvadai, or Beloshen from the Pasuk. There's a sefer called the Chumash, a heilige sefer, Gita Machaber. Pasuk says, Ata Hareisel Adas. Thank you. The Eibishter showed us. Ata goes on the Yidden. Ata, you Yidden, you were shown, Ki Hashem hu Elokim, Ein Oid Milvadai. That's what you were shown. By Matan Torah, you are not just, you saw Hashem. No. You saw that Ein Oid Milvadai. That's what you saw. How did they see that? They saw a world, and they saw that the world is really Hashem. So that's the Taich Ein Oid Milvadai. So it's a halbe maise. If you say Hashem hu Elokim, and you don't say Ein Oid Milvadai, you still didn't get it. So Hashem is hu Elokim, aber ich bin euch der Metzies. No. Ob du bist der Metzies, ist Eibischter nicht kein Eibischter. Weil der Teich Eibischter ist, als nicht doch kein anderer Metzies. Verstehst? You understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? The Mistis get verstehen, because that's the side from the ganze Chassidus. Without that, you can't even begin to have understanding of Chassidus. What does the word Hashem mean? The Almighty, the Creator, the Boire. That's just telling you one of the things that He could do. He could create. But that's not who He is. He's much more than a Boire. That's just a job description. He's a Boire. So, was ist der Teich Eibishter? Kommt sie gegen den Baal Shem Tov und sagt, Teich Eibishter meint, als nicht da keine andere Sache, nur der Eibishter. Period. I said da a Welt, und sie da mich, let's not forget about me. Ich meine der Eibishter, aber ich meine, however du feels that du bist a separate Metzias, outside of the Eibishter. The Alter Rebbe says it's Avodah Zarah. Your mamish over the Avodah Zarah. Because Alter Rebbe has a chiddush that Achdus Hashem is a part of Emunas Hashem. The first mitzvah in the Torah is Anochi Hashem Elokecha. And the second mitzvah of the Sefer Dibros is Lo Yilach. Avodah Zarah, Taich the Alter Rebbe, the Mocha is Azoya, that Achdus Hashem is a part of Amuna und Shliches Avodah Zarah. Oi ich halt, ob ich lebe, also da a zweite Sach. A chutz der Rebischte. Das ist Avodah Zarah. Kann man haben a lange weiße Bord, in a lange Bäckische, mit der Stramel, und a große Stramel. Oi bei dir ist da noch a Metzies. A chutz der Rebischte, bis da Oivid Avodah Zarah, die makes home Messias Nefesh. Al Kiddush Hashem. Also lernt der alte Rebbe in Tanya, klar, in Perek Chof, in Tanya. Achtus Hashem is a part, the Ebbes das sagt der Zoya. Der Zoya sagt, as Amunas Hashem is bederach Klal, und bederach Prat is Achtus Hashem. Achtus Hashem is a Prat in Amunas Hashem. So just like if I don't have Amunah, I'm a Kaifer. If I don't believe in Achtus Hashem, I'm also a Kaifer. I'm a Oivid Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah meint nicht a Getschke. Oib se dann noch a Metzies, chutz der Rebischter. Is this Avodah Zarah? Is Hepech Achtus Hashem? Hello? Memele, it's Pekuach Nefesh to understand was sagt der Baal Shem Tov, was is Chassidus Bechlal. Describe what's Chassidus. Or das is Chassidus. Was is der Emunah von Ayid? Was gelebt Ayid? Und als ganz Chassidus dreht sich herum dem. Der ganze Mashiach und die ganze Asid Lavai. Und wir haben alle gedavent, alle Jiden haben gedavent, Rosh Hashanah, und wir haben alle gebeten beim Eibishten ein Sach, which is very interesting. Aber mir wird getracht, was man sagt, wenn man davent. Man betrachtet doch aber nicht. Aber der Shmonesre Betman von Mashiach, das ist der einzige Bakasche, und mir described in dem Shmonesre, was wird sein, als Mashiach wird kommen. Es wie jeder Kopol, ki ato pealto. Ja, wenn Kol Yisor, die ganze Bakasche von Ayid, Rosh Hashanah, der Tag, was, der heiligste Tag, was mit der Pasken auf der ganzen Jahr, sie kehrt sich auf Welt. Was bet Ayid? Also wie der Rebbe sagt doch, du bist der einzige Metzies. Und jetzt bist du behalten. Und man sieht nicht das, und man fühlt nicht das. Ich dachte, das ist eine gewaltige, gefährliche Sache. Es ist ein Schecker, Gomme der Welt. Das ist die größte Liegend, was kann nicht sein, kein größere Liegend. Man lebt doch in einer Liegend. Eulam, sagt der alte Rebbe, kommt Eulam, Loschen, Helem. Die Welt ist auf der Stelle auf der Memes. Bet Ayid, Rosh Hashanah, der erste Bakasche, der wichtigste Bakasche. Du musst Miskale werden. Weil wir leben doch in einer Liegend. Es ist doch ein Schecker Gommel, was wir... Stell dir vor, wir haben eine Natur, wir können nicht leiden, ein falscher Mensch. Richtig? Also das ist ein Mensch, who's a phony, you get irritated. Right? That's the teva von einem Mensch. For some reason, you see a phony, it bothers me. He's a full of baloney. Huh? The world is euch das so. Die Welt guckt euch wie ein Metzies. Es ist doch ein falscher Jung. Es ist doch ein falsch, das Chazar Schecker, das ist der Hebel von dem Emes. There's no größere Schecker. Darf ich gefunden, die erste Gelegenheit einfach beten beim Eibishten, ich soll nicht leiden. Ich soll nicht sein als ein Liegener. Ich lebe doch wie ein Schakren. Ich gebe ab dem Covid zu der Welt und zu sich, Keilu, das ist ein Nemes. Das ist doch ein Schecker Gamma. Ich habe einmal gehört, das ist ein schönes Wort, als der Gere Rebbe, ich weiß nicht, welcher Gere Rebbe, ist einmal noch in Davenen, sagt allem in Shabbos. Mit dem Kopf, also, gewinnt dort etwas als ein Chassid, ein Phony, was nicht scharf ist, die alle begonnen, was getragen, aber doch hat gehabt, Aspodik mit the big shoes, with the stiefel. He looked like a pro. But the Rebbe knew that this guy is halt noch nicht bei dem. So ist durchgegangen, zu allem hat gesagt, guten Shabbos, zu ihm hat gesagt, guten Purim. In other words, I know who you are. This is who we are. We're phony balonies. Das ist doch phony liegend. Das ist liegend, noch gewinnen, größere liegend. Die Welt guckt euch, wie es am ist. Und ich liege den ganzen Tag in dem, das ist ein fat lie. You're not ashamed of yourself to live like a liar? You're not fed up? Ist die erste Gelegenheit, das kommt zu den neuen Jahr, better than maybe enough is enough. Sei sich misgale. Und das meint Mashiach. Was ist Mashiach? Demals wird misgale werden als ein Mal weiter. Wie jeder Kopol, ki ate gepalte, wie Joven kol Yitzur. Das sagt man, das bett man. Seiden mit nicht getracht, Pesha Milles. Aber das ist die einzige Sache, was Yid bett Rosh Hashanah. Nicht wegen Parnasse, nicht wegen Refuhe. Gib a guck in die Schminestre, bis nicht gefunden kann ein Wort, nur ein Sach. Mashiach soll kommen. Und wir describen, was wird demnach sein, kein Tzadikim, als was wird sein, als Mashiach wird kommen. That's the whole davening. And now there geht Shachis, and there geht the ganze Rosh Hashanah. Because that is the most important thing. Als sie wird geben etwas artificial Essen, was sie guckt euch, was es Essen, und es ist mamisch, ich weiß nicht was. You would be so upset, das ist also gar nicht, ich habe so abgenäht, es guckt euch wie Essen, und sogar me a day what it is. You would be so upset, you want your money back, or not just that, you would want to knock them off. What do you think we're doing? We're fakers, big fakers. We're living in a fake world. So we're sick and tired of that. Or we should be sick and tired of that. That's why we need Mashiach. Achot dem, wo der Eibishter darf Mashiach. Weil doch beschaffen der Welt, als Sofkel soll Nisgale werden. So kolz man wird nicht Nisgale, hat doch nicht ausgeführte Kavanne von Briesäul? Das, was es steht, doch sieht es dir mit Achtoinim, sagt der alte Rebbe, when is that going to be? Yemois HaMashiach and Trias HaMeisa. So, als Bocher redt wegen Mashiach, darf doch wissen, was das meint. Was meint es als ein Mashiach? What does it mean? Also lernen Chassidus, versteht die ganze Kavanne ist dir mit Achtoine. Und kolz man Mashiach nicht da, ist noch nicht geworden dir mit Achtoine. So der ewigste Kavanne hat sich nicht ausgeführt. That's the issue. Darf im Baderen, dass der ewigste Kavanne, ich will euch erzählen eine interessante Sache. Einmal habe ich gebracht zum Rebbe von Buffalo professors, jüdische professors, and they came to the Farbrengen. And the Rebbe spoke a whole sikha to them. He spoke in Yiddish, but it had to be translated. And the Rebbe spoke very sharp. And he said that the whole purpose of why you are a professor is that you should be makar of people to Yiddishkeit. And the Rebbe said, and if not that, who needs you? You know what it means? You're telling a Balgaiva, a professor, was a halsach in Greusen, and the Rebbe repeated noch einmal and noch einmal. Noch was darf man dir bechlal? Who needs you bechlal, Zolege? Dein ganze Kavanne ist, dass du sollst makar sein andere Jiden. was so interesting. The halacha from the chassid, ani nevreisi the shamash koini. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm getting out of it. It's about the Eibishter. Voran Avot, was alle darfen das wissen, ob sie wissen nicht. Der Rebbe hat einmal gesagt am Maimer, Tov Shin Yud Beis, der bekannte Maimer, Lassiya Mishakela. In dort gewähnt ein Wort, wo der Rebbe hat gewähnt bei der Maimer, und at the Savannah Gemara, should talk in English, there is a Gemara that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, right before he went to heaven, he began to cry. Why did he begin to cry? Because he says, I don't know where I'm going. Am I going to Gan Eden or am I going to the microwave oven? So Chassidus asks, how could Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai not know where he's going? He knew that he was a tzaddik. He knew he's not going to know microwave ovens. So what does it mean? I don't know where I'm going. I was to say he was an anav. An anav doesn't mean an idiot. An anav doesn't mean he fools himself and he makes believe that he doesn't know where he is. That's not an anav. That's called a ashaita. An anav knows who he is, but he doesn't give himself credit. It's all a gift from Hashem. But he knows who he is. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was a person who did not go Daled Amis, B'loi Tefillah, or the B'loi Tefillin, always learned Torah. And the Malach HaMavet couldn't get to him. So what does it mean? I don't know where I'm going. It's a big shaila. Why shouldn't he know? He knew what? He was in control of himself. And he could give an account on all of his deeds from when he was born. So what does it mean? I don't know where I'm going. So the Rebbe said an atomic bomb answer. The Rebbe said, Bachram, are you listening? So the Rebbe has his own taich. The Alter Rebbe has a different taich. But this is an old Shliches Chassidus. How could he say, I don't know where I'm going? The Rebbe said like this. All his life, he was working for the Eibishter. You're not here to build yourself a Gan Eden. You're here every second that you're here. Ani nevreisi the shamash eskain. You're going is not really important. You got to make sure that every moment of your life you're doing what the Eibishter wants. So Rabbi Yochanan was so involved every rega to serve Hashem that he didn't feel he has right to take off time to keep score where he's going. And that moment that I'm keeping score, where am I going? You could have done another mitzvah. So Kol's man, he was alive and healthy. He felt, I have no right to make a cheshbon, where am I going? That's what you came here down to go somewhere, to have a good place in Gan Eden? You're here for the Eibishter. So every rega you should be thinking about the mitzvah to do. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was an honest man. He said, I never stopped to think, a cheshbon and nefesh, maybe I'm going I need a cleansing. Maybe I'm going to the microwave oven. He didn't have the time. Only the Rebbe could say this. Because the Rebbe was, his whole life was ani nevreshi l'shamash eskain. We're not here for ourselves to build up for ourselves schar. You got the wrong religion. We're here for the boss. We're not here for ourselves. Memele, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai honestly didn't take off time. He didn't feel he has a right to take off time to worry about where he's going. That minute you could have done another mitzvah. So he didn't take off time. Once Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai couldn't do anything anymore, he says, you know what? I really don't know where I'm going. Stehst? This is not just a teurele, a scheine teure. Das ist ein Jesoid in Leben, wie der Rebbe ist uns mechanach. Aber man darf trachten wegen dem Eibischten, nicht wegen sich. Nicht wegen dein Ganheden, nicht wegen... You're not here for yourself. You're here for the boss. On Chassidus kann man nicht trachten also. Adarabe. In the ganzen Litte, in the überall, everything is about Scha. The whole issue is always Scha, or the Gehenim, or the Scha. It's about the Mira Yeshiva. It's about me. You don't get that in Chassidus. The issue is not, am I going to get a reward or am I going to be punished? The issue is, I'm here to do what the Eibusher wants me to do. If you're getting a reward, it's totally irrelevant. There's something more important than me. There's a bigger picture. There's a God who wants me to do mitzvahs. Hast du? Der Heint hat die gehört als Sachen. Jetzt darfst du das hereintragen in sich herein. Man darf es hereinnehmen. Das hat der Rebbe uns gelernt. Das ist der Pshat eine Idee. Eine Idee hat keine gemeint mit der Nemes. Ich habe nicht gehabt, auf viele Zeit sich abstellen. Ich habe gemacht, ein paar Tosen. Aber die paar Minuten will ich herabnehmen von Trachten, dann noch eine Mitzvah, von mir bestimmen, oder ich darf wissen, wo ich gehe. Habe ich ein Recht? Do I have the right to spend time figuring out if I have fresh linen in Gan Eden, or if it's going to be air conditioned here? Du verstehst, was ich sage? Das ist eine meurige Sache. Das ist euch belehren, dass ein euch nur war, das Bechlal noch der Eibischte. Schämig sich, trachten wegen sich. Wer bist du? Katchille bist du doch gar nicht. Du hast nicht kein Sich erfüllen. Aber man weiß nicht, dass in der ganzen Leben ist wegen sich. Was ist ich alles tragen wegen sich? Ich habe doch ein ganzes Leben wegen aufbauen mein Sich. Have a good Sicht, to feel good about myself. L'chaim. Bemeile, man hat gesagt, dass heint bei Nacht kommen zu gehen, chassidische Ingeleit. In der einzige, was habe ich noch gesehen, euch dort. Ihr seid Mäuze, die ganze Kohl. Aber ihr Halter soll, sind sie gerecht. Gerecht sind sie. Ganz schnell. Aber so ist, ich habe nur. Ist es ein Gedenken, aber nicht später euch ist. So, bauen wir Träge. Ich verstehe das so. In der Litte ist die Schiefe zu sagen, an dem Gudel. A Godel. A Godel ist die größte Beleidigung, wo du kannst sagen, ein Mensch, ein Chassid, du bist der größte Jesch. Wird sich beleidigen, nicht dort kein niedriger Wort, wo du kannst ihm anrufen. Und bei der Litte, in der ganzen Schiefe, du kannst dich auswachsen aus dem Godel. Aber der Emes ist, als bei Chassidim nicht Chabad, ist du euch das Wort, was kommt dasselbe Gematrie wie ein Udem Gudel. Ein Udem Chushev. Bei uns in Polen, ein Udem Chushev. Lass dadurch als Udem Chushev. Der Udem Chushev, ich kann schon sehen von seinem ganzen Mahalach, geht schon wie Udem Chushev. Ihr versteht? Die Gematrie dasselbe wie ein Godel. Das wird andere Werte, aber es geht schon mit Kolner, schon ein Ben Shak, ist nicht da gar nicht, ist ein Udem Chushev. Das ist, ja, ich weiß schon alle Kutens, aber bei Paul Mamisch ist das, aber chassidische Jid hat man gerufen, einem, was ein Bittel geht, was hat, fühlt sich nicht, hat nicht, trägt nicht wegen sich beklau. Es bei sich nicht gar nicht, nimmt sich nicht serious beklau. Ihr versteht? Ich habe gehört von Mansa Seide, habe ich gehört als Amasse. Der Rebbe Rabhesh Mechimenov hat gehabt 2 Talmiden. Eine gewordene Rebbe, 2 Talmiden. Eine gewordene Rebbe, in eine geblieben Gunst. In der Gunst, später geworden älter, geht zieht zu der Achave seine, was geworden Rebbe. Und fragt ihn, sag mich später, sag mir Meuchel, was ist der Maße? Wir haben beide gelernt bei derselben Rebbe. Und die bist geworden Rebbe, und ich bin geblieben Gunst. Sagt ihm der Rebbe, ich will dich fragen, für was? Weil wir sind gewesen beim Rebbe, habe ich gehorvet zu seiner Dech, zu seiner Gunst. Die ist aber gehorvet zu werden ein Nech. Dafür bin ich ein Nech und die ein Dech. Versteht? Das ist dasselbe Wort. Aber gehorvet zu werden ein Nech, bleibt mir na gar nicht. Aber als ich auch gehorvet zu sein, na gar nicht, dafür bin ich ein Nech. Schein? Ihr halt Tage bei dem? Ja, wie lange arbeitet ihr auf dem? Es ist schon eine lange Zeit. Und ihr hat das Schluch in dem?
Nicht ich weiß nicht.
Aha. Ich will auch sagen, also, die Zeit ist kurz. Ich weiß auch nicht, wie viele Säge es jetzt. Wie viele Säge? 1:30. Der Rebbe